The medieval era was defined by powerful kings who commanded vast armies, conquered kingdoms, and shaped the destiny of entire civilizations. From legendary crusaders to empire builders who forged nations from chaos, these monarchs wielded absolute power with iron fists and brilliant strategic minds. If you love epic medieval history, smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible content. These are the 15 most powerful medieval kings of all time. At number 15 we have the Viking warrior who united England and ruled the North Sea Empire. Canute the Great transformed from a Viking invader into one of medieval Europe's most powerful rulers, creating a North Sea Empire that stretched across England, Denmark and Norway. After conquering England in 1016, he proved himself a wise and just ruler, earning the respect of both his Viking warriors and Anglo-Saxon subjects through fair governance. His legendary demonstration of humility, commanding the waves to stop and proving even kings cannot control nature, showed his political wisdom and secured his place in history. Number 14 brings us the Scottish hero who defeated England's mighty armies to secure independence. Robert the Bruce rose from defeat and exile to become Scotland's greatest king, leading his nation to independence against overwhelming English power. His stunning victory at Bannockburn in 1314 saw his smaller Scottish army completely crush Edward II's massive English force, one of the greatest military upsets in medieval history. Through brilliant guerrilla warfare tactics and unwavering determination, Robert secured the Declaration of Arbroath in 1320, establishing Scotland's sovereignty and inspiring future generations. At number 13, meet the warrior king who led England to its greatest victory against impossible odds. Henry V transformed from a reckless prince into one of England's greatest warrior kings, leading his nation to spectacular military triumphs in France. At Agincourt in 1415, his outnumbered English army decimated a French force 5 times larger, with English longbowmen slaughtering French knights in one of history's most decisive battles. His military genius and personal courage in battle earned him recognition as heir to the French throne, nearly uniting England and France under one crown before his untimely death at age 35. Number 12 features the German emperor who became the legendary Crusader king who drowned seeking glory. Frederick Barbarossa, the red-bearded Holy Roman Emperor, dominated Europe for nearly 4 decades, combining military might with political cunning to expand his empire across Germany and Italy. His 6 military campaigns into Italy established imperial authority over rebellious cities, crushing the Lombard League and forcing even the Pope to acknowledge his power. Leading the Third Crusade at age 67, Barbarossa drowned crossing a river in Anatolia, but his legend became so powerful that Germans believed he would one day return to restore the empire's glory. At 11, here's the Saxon king who saved England from Viking conquest and became the only English king called the Great. Alfred the Great stands alone as the only English monarch ever granted the title the Great, having saved Anglo-Saxon England from total Viking annihilation through military genius and cultural reform. When the great heathen army had conquered most of England, Alfred retreated to the marshes, then launched a stunning comeback campaign that defeated the Vikings at Edington and saved Wessex. Beyond warfare, Alfred revolutionized English society by creating a navy, reforming laws, promoting literacy, and establishing a network of fortified towns that laid the foundation for a unified English nation. Number 10 brings us the first Holy Roman Emperor, who reunited Western Europe after centuries of chaos. Otto the Great forged the Holy Roman Empire from the fractured remnants of Charlemagne's realm, establishing a German-dominated power that would endure for nearly a millennium. His crushing victory over the Magyars at the Battle of Lechfeld in 955 saved Christian Europe from devastating Hungarian raids and established him as Christendom's defender. By subordinating the Church to imperial authority and conquering Italy, Otto created a political system that balanced royal and ecclesiastical power, shaping European politics for centuries. At 9, the French king, who outmaneuvered Richard the Lionheart and conquered English lands. Philip II Augustus transformed France from a weak kingdom into Europe's dominant power, tripling the size of royal territory through military conquest and political manipulation. He seized most of England's French territories from King John, winning the decisive Battle of Bouvines in 1214, that crushed an alliance of England, the Holy Roman Empire, and Flanders. Philip's administrative reforms created a centralized government that collected taxes efficiently, maintained a professional army, and established Paris as Europe's greatest medieval city. Number 8 features the Crusader king, who became a saint through piety, justice, and military prowess. Louis II of France, later canonized as Saint Louis, combined deep Christian piety with ruthless effectiveness, making France the most powerful and respected kingdom in medieval Europe. His 44-year reign saw France dominate European politics through military strength and his personal reputation for justice, with kings across Europe seeking his arbitration in disputes. He led 2 crusades to the Holy Land, and though both ultimately failed, his devotion was so profound that he was canonized just 27 years after his death from disease in Tunis. At 7 meet Longshanks, the hammer of the Scots who conquered Wales and nearly destroyed Scotland. Edward Abord, called Longshanks for his towering height and the hammer of the Scots for his brutal campaigns, was medieval England's most formidable warrior king and administrator. He completely conquered Wales in a series of devastating campaigns, building a ring of massive castles that still dominate the Welsh landscape, and crushed all resistance to English rule. His campaigns in Scotland nearly succeeded in conquering that kingdom too, and his legal reforms, including the model parliament and codification of laws, shaped English government for centuries. Edward died while marching north for yet another Scottish campaign at age 68, having spent his entire reign expanding and consolidating English power through force and law. Number 6 brings us the founder of the Plantagenet dynasty, who ruled an empire stretching from Scotland to the Pyrenees. Henry II created the vast Angevin Empire, ruling territories that stretched from Scotland to the Spanish border, making him the most powerful monarch in Western Europe. His legal reforms revolutionized English law, establishing common law, trial by jury, and a professional legal system that became the foundation of legal systems across the English-speaking world. Though his reign was marred by conflict with Thomas Becket and rebellions by his own sons, Henry's administrative genius created a centralized government that survived long after his death. His empire collapsed after his death, but the governmental structures he built made England one of Europe's best-administered kingdoms for centuries to come. At 5, the legendary Lionheart, whose name became synonymous with medieval chivalry and crusading glory. Richard the Lionheart became medieval Europe's most legendary warrior king, whose military genius and personal courage in battle made him a hero throughout Christendom. During the Third Crusade, he won spectacular victories against Saladin at Arsuf and Jaffa, personally leading cavalry charges and inspiring his men through fearless example in the thick of battle. Though he spent only 6 months of his 10-year reign in England, Richard's reputation as the perfect Christian knight made him immortal in legend and literature. He died fighting in France at age 41 from an infected crossbow wound, but his legacy as the warrior king par excellence has never faded from history. Number 4 features the Norman Duke, who conquered England in the most famous invasion in British history. William the Conqueror's invasion of England in 1066 changed the course of British and European history forever, establishing Norman rule and transforming English culture, language, and government. His victory at Hastings, where he killed King Harold and shattered the Anglo-Saxon army, was followed by brutal campaigns that crushed all resistance across England. The harrying of the north saw William's armies devastate northern England so thoroughly that thousands died of starvation, cementing his iron grip on his new kingdom. His Domesday Book catalogued every acre of English land, creating an unprecedented system of control and taxation that made England one of medieval Europe's richest and most powerful kingdoms. At 3, meet the Byzantine Emperor, who reconquered the lost Roman Empire and built monuments that still stand today. Justinian I came closer than any medieval ruler to restoring the glory of ancient Rome, reconquering North Africa, Italy, and parts of Spain while ruling the Byzantine Empire at its zenith. His general Belisarius won stunning victories across the Mediterranean, crushing the Vandal kingdom in a single campaign and waging a brutal 20-year war to retake Italy from the Goths. Beyond military conquest, Justinian revolutionized law by codifying Roman legal tradition in the Corpus Juris Civilis, which became the foundation of legal systems across Europe. He constructed the magnificent Hagia Sophia, whose massive dome dominated Constantinople's skyline and stood as Christianity's greatest church for nearly 1,000 years. Number 2 brings us the Holy Roman Emperor, whose reign defined what it meant to be a Christian king in Europe. Charlemagne, King of the Franks and Holy Roman Emperor, united most of Western Europe under his rule for the first time since the fall of Rome, creating an empire that stretched from the Atlantic to eastern Germany. Through 53 military campaigns over 46 years, he conquered the Saxons, Lombards, and Avars, converting pagan peoples to Christianity by the sword and expanding Frankish power across Europe. His coronation as Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III on Christmas Day 800 revived the concept of a unified Christian empire in the West and established the precedent of papal coronation. The Carolingian Renaissance he sponsored preserved classical learning, standardized writing, reformed education, and saved countless ancient texts from destruction, shaping European culture for centuries. And finally, at number 1, the greatest conqueror in human history who built an empire from the Pacific to Eastern Europe. Genghis Khan rose from brutal poverty to create the largest contiguous land empire in human history, conquering more territory than any other individual ruler ever has. He united the warring Mongol tribes and unleashed them across Asia and Eastern Europe, destroying the Khwarezmian Empire, conquering China, and sending armies that reached the gates of Vienna. His military genius revolutionized warfare through superior cavalry tactics, psychological warfare, and espionage, while his armies left cities in ruins and millions dead across 2 continents. Beyond conquest, Genghis Khan created a merit-based government, established religious tolerance, promoted trade along the Silk Road, and founded a dynasty that ruled a quarter of humanity. His empire at its height covered over 9 million square miles, and his legacy shaped world history more profoundly than perhaps any other medieval ruler.